Imagine walking into a library where the walls are the books, and every single word is a sculpture. And I'm not talking about science fiction here. I'm talking about the Hoysaleswara Temple at Halebidu in Karnataka, India. It's this absolute architectural marvel, where thousands of sculptures tell endless stories, literally frozen in stone for over 900 years. So let's dive into this incredible place.
And hey, don't just take my word for it. The famous art historian Percy Brown once called this temple the supreme climax of Indian architecture. Now that's a pretty bold statement, right? In this explainer, we're going to find out exactly why this place earns that kind of praise. It's going to be a journey into a world of breathtaking detail and deep, deep history, and we're exploring it together.
All right, so here's our game plan. First, we'll talk about why it's considered such a masterpiece. Then we'll look at the architectural blueprint, how it was all designed. After that, we'll jump back in time to see its rise and its tragic fall, before we really get into decoding the stories in its library in stone. And to finish up, I'll give you a practical guide for planning your own trip to Halebidu.
So let's kick things off with its global status. Just recently, in 2023, the Hoysaleswara Temple was officially made a UNESCO World Heritage Site. This is huge. It really cements its status not just as a treasure of India, but as a landmark that holds outstanding value for all of humanity.
Okay, so what is the Hoysaleswara Temple exactly?
Well, at its heart, it's a 12th century temple dedicated to the Hindu god Shiva. It was built in Halebidu, which back then was called Dorasamudra, and it was the grand capital of the powerful Hoysala Empire. But, and this is a big but, that simple description doesn't even begin to scratch the surface of how complex and beautiful this place truly is.
Now let's get into the nuts and bolts, the architectural blueprint. The real genius of the Hoysala style is in the incredibly intricate planning and their innovative use of materials. You see, this wasn't just about putting up a place of worship. It was about creating an entire universe out of stone, designed with both mathematical precision and just incredible artistic freedom.
So check this out. The first thing to know is that it's not just one temple. It's a Dwikuta, a twin temple. There are two main shrines, one for Hoysaleshwara, named after the king, and the other for Shantaleshwara, named after his queen. And the whole thing sits on this really unique star-shaped platform, which is called a Jagati. And you can't miss the two giant statues of Nandi, Shiva's bull, each one facing its own shrine. It's just a perfect symphony of design.
This brings up a huge question, right? How on earth were the artists able to carve with such mind-boggling, intricate detail on every single surface? Well, the answer, the secret ingredient, was the stone itself. So why did they choose soapstone?
And here is the magic behind it all. The material they used, known as soapstone, has a kind of superpower. When it's first quarried, it's incredibly soft. We're talking so soft that artists could carve it with the precision of a jeweler, getting details down to fingernails and individual beads on a necklace. But then, and this is the amazing part, once it's exposed to air, the stone begins to harden, eventually becoming rock solid and preserving that delicate artwork for centuries. It's pure genius.
And if you think the outside is stunning, just wait till you see the inside. The temple halls are filled with these massive pillars that are so perfectly round and polished, you can almost see a reflection in them. They're often called lathe-turned pillars because their precision just seems impossible to achieve by hand. It really makes you wonder what kind of technology they had almost 1,000 years ago to create these things.
You know, every great monument has a story of how it was created, and often a story of destruction. The temple's history is completely tied to the legacy of the Hoysala kingdom, a story of immense power, incredible art, and ultimately, tragic loss.
This timeline really captures the dramatic story of the temple. The Hoysala dynasty came to power around the year 1000. Then, in 1121, King Vishnuvardhana sponsored this incredible temple in his capital, Dorasamudra. For almost 300 years, this was a thriving, magnificent city. But in the 14th century, armies from the Delhi Sultanate invaded and plundered it, not just once, but twice. The capital never recovered, and that's how it got the name it has today, Halebidu, which in the local Kannada language tragically means ruined city.
But here's the amazing thing. Despite all that destruction, the temple's greatest treasure survived. And that treasure is its stories. So now we're getting to the heart of it all, decoding the walls of this incredible library in stone. This is where the temple truly comes alive.
Just to give you an idea of the sheer scale, let me throw one number at you: 340. That's how many large, distinct sculptures are on the outer walls, each one a masterpiece telling a story from Hindu theology.
And that number doesn't even include the thousands upon thousands of smaller figures in the decorative bands. The volume of art is just staggering. And the artist organized all this information with incredible logic. The outer walls are layered in these horizontal bands, called friezes, and each one has a specific theme. At the very bottom, you have a whole parade of elephants, which represent stability, like they're holding the whole temple up. Above them are lions for courage, then floral designs for beauty, then horses for speed. As you move up, the walls just burst to life with scenes from the great Hindu epics. It's like a curriculum, carved right in stone.
And this is a really crucial point. This temple is so much more than a religious building. It's a historical document. The walls are basically a visual encyclopedia, telling the stories of the Ramayana, the Mahabharata, and more, panel by panel. For a population that was mostly illiterate back then, these walls were the ultimate storybook. It's how their culture was passed on.
You know what else makes this library so fascinating? It's the mix of the sacred and the, well, not so sacred. On one panel, you might see Lord Shiva in a cosmic dance, but right next to it, you'll find these incredible carvings of dancers, musicians, and just scenes from everyday life in the 12th century. It captures the grand mythology, but also the real texture of society that built it. It's a complete window into their world.
All right, after seeing all of this, you might just be inspired to visit for yourself. So, let's shift gears a little and turn this into a practical guide. If you want to walk through this stone library in person, here's everything you need to know.
Here is your cheat sheet for planning a trip. The temple is in Halebidu, in the Hassan district of Karnataka. It's about a 4-hour drive from Bengaluru, so it makes for a perfect day trip or weekend getaway. It's open every day, and get this, entry to the main temple is free. But here's my most important tip. Hire a local guide. It costs very little, and they will unlock the stories in the stone, pointing out details you would absolutely miss on your own. It transforms the whole experience.
And while you're in the area, you absolutely cannot miss its sister temple. Just 16 kilometers away is the Chinnakeshava temple at Belur. It's another Hoysala masterpiece. While Halebidu is the biggest Hoysala temple, dedicated to Shiva and famous for its stories on the outside, Belur is a single temple dedicated to Vishnu, and it's celebrated for its incredibly graceful sculptures on the inside. Visiting both gives you a much richer understanding of the Hoysala artistic vision.
So we end right back where we started. The Hoysaleswara Temple is a monument that survived total destruction to become this enduring testament to human creativity. It's a place that rewards every single look with a new discovery. And it leaves us with one final, big question. After 9 centuries of standing silent, through ruin and rediscovery, what other secrets, what other stories do these stones still wait to tell us?